Hi, it's Leonie again. We're going to share a few more tips and techniques with you using our distress inks again. This time I want to create a really deep, intense background and white out so we can do over stamping. So what we're aiming for is intense backgrounds here. So I'm using darker colours with my distress ink. I'm going for, again, colours that match, colours that will blend beautiful. So I've got one of my favourites, my vintage photo. I've also got a really deep green, which is pine needles. And then another one of my new favourites, it's the spice marmalade, so it's a really intense orange. We're going to use these first of all, and then we're going to do some gesso and we're going to do some spritzing. So let's crack on. Right, we're going to start with our plain piece of cardstock. Because I want an intense colour, I'm going to go direct under my card. So just wiping your ink over the top and then taking your cut and dry and starting to blend that colour in. Because ink pad's really wet, it'll start to blend easily. And because I'm working on good quality cardstock, it'll mean you get that beautiful blend. So I've got my spice marmalade, take my pine needles, I'm overlapping, I'm not too worried about where I'm actually going with that. Again, get my sponge, and I'm using a different cut and dry, so I've got one for each colour. And can you see how it blends beautifully in with the spice marmalade? So just dragging the colours in and blending them in, so you'll get that really nice colour combination going in there. And again, look how they blend. And then last but not least, we've got our vintage photo. So I'll take the vintage photo and just patch up, maybe put a little bit at the corner as well. And again, using my sponge and my cut and dry and blending that colour in, so you get that beautiful toned effect. Now that's a really deep colour, so if I wanted to overstamp on this, you don't get a really clear overstamp. So what we're going to do, first of all, is create our background. So for our background, we are going to use a stamp now. Look at the state of my stamp. This is a well-loved stamp. I haven't bothered backing it. It's not on anything because it will give me lots of uses. I use this with my triple thick embossing. I use it with my fibres, my Angelina fibres. And there will be another clip for Angelina, so do watch out for that one. Now I've inked it really random. I'm not worrying about getting the perfect ink on here either, because it's going to be a distress look. This is just a background, so I don't need it to be perfect at all. So just over stamping again. Again, if it doesn't hit all the stamp, doesn't matter. And just laying that down. I'm not even worried if the stamp doesn't meet, because I'm just creating a background effect there. Now, we're going to blend the ink in. I don't want to lose all the colour, so I'll heat set it first. That will mean some of the ink will blend, but some of it will stay put. So just give it a blast with the heat gun quickly. I don't want to really set it all. And then using my cut and dry, I'm just going to gently go over the actual image. I'm not putting too much pressure because I don't want to lose the image. So you can see some of it's faded in more than others, and I like that. I like the colour combination there. I'm keeping this piece of cardstock. I'm not going to stamp on that. That's for my fingers, because otherwise I end up pulling all the ink off my actual project. Now, I want to whiten part of it out. I'm going to use Gesso, and I've got an acrylic Gesso. Again, do check out the website, because we have got Gesso on the website. Gesso's brilliant if you're into your altered art, if you're into book art, you know, if you love doing things with your books, if you like getting printed images, you can whiten out the image. If you just apply a little bit of the Gesso, so I'm just picking a bit of the Gesso up and just brush it on. Now, I don't need this again to be perfect. All I'm trying to do is bleach out part of the area so it'll give me something to overstamp on. And what I like when I apply this, I like it because it's picking up part of the colour from the background. So it's not going to be a really rich white tone, but I don't want it too perfect again, so I want to be able to see the brush strokes, and I want to still see some of that stamped image underneath. So that's all I'm going to put on. The less, if you want to put a thin layer of Gesso on, you will get quite a transparent look, so you will see some of your surface underneath there. I'll just give it a blast with a heat gun to dry it. You can leave it to dry naturally, but just to show you how you can overstamp now. So it'll just lighten it a little bit for you, so you can now overstamp. So I'll take my stamp, and I'm actually going to stamp in black, so hopefully it'll stamp out for us, I'm really sure. And this is a black soot, and again, black soot is brilliant because it is a deep, intense black. And then I guess it is dry, just checking that we're dry. And then I'm going to turn that round because the stamp is thicker at this side, and then just apply the stamp. So pressing down so I get a good all round image. And let's have a see. There we go, and then you'll be able to see that really allows the stamp to come out from the actual background image. If now you wanted to create more backgrounds, allow this to dry, or of course heat set it, and then if you wanted to, say you wanted to create a more intense decoration or a more intense image, you could always bring your other stamp in and then just do a few extra swirls and decoration with that one. So we want to just bringing in the darker brown and just around the edges, and I like doing that, just having swirls around the edges. Again, do check the website because we have got this stamp on the website, and it's one I will be using for a lot of the clips because it's such a versatile stamp. And just getting tiny swirls. To actually frame this, what I would do is then bring the darker brown in and just go around the edges to really frame it. Even use a black for this, because you've used a black for the words. The black, in fact I'll do that for you, the black won't look out of place. So if I wanted to pick the black up and just frame the card, just going around the edges, and with this one you're literally just touching the edges, so you bring in a tiny bit of black in. Don't go too far with it because obviously you don't want to lose any of the colours. If you wanted to highlight any of your extra elements, like any of the words, use something like glossy accents and just maybe highlight one or two of the words in the sentence. That can look really pretty as well. Add ribbons, maybe add some of your wonderful alterations, make it look really cool. And there you go, that's one of our backgrounds highlighted with the white gesso.